Good afternoon, everybody. It's Saturday at 6 o'clock. As promised, I'm keeping my promise to go live every Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I welcome you to the live. This is Nurse Training and Advocacy. My name is Maggie, nurse practitioner. And on this channel, on this live, I try to bring topics to you that are in line with what I am trying to do. As I have recently retired, I have decided to invest in providing some training program for nurses, nurse managers, and supervisors specifically. I am thinking of doing another class for newly licensed nurses also to help them transition from being in school to real life. As you know, my reasons for doing these classes is really because I see a need for nurses who have the soft skills necessary to maneuver in these treacherous time that we're living in. I have been a nurse for over 36 years, I think, and I recently retired. I have worked in different management capacities. I've owned businesses, I've managed, supervised, developed programs. So I am trying to do what I think I can based on my experiences to kind of help the next generation. I have also recently started teaching at a local university. I'm teaching a class, and I just love trying to inspire this new generation of nurses to say, yes, nursing is tough. Yes, nursing is challenging, but it is so worth it. It is such a worthwhile investment and career choice. So I have done different topics for the last few weeks. Starting today, I decided that because I'm launching my course that I have coined SkillBuild, meaning we're trying to build skills. And again, the skills I am trying to help you, the aspiring or the actual nurse supervisor, are the what we call the soft skills, skills that your employer is not going to be able to teach you. A lot of that has to do with personality and tendencies and things that you're comfortable with, or things that you've assessed that you're lacking, but you are committed to developing. I mean, we as human beings have capacity to change ourselves, to improve ourselves. You can learn um, practices and habits to make your life in your job easier. So every single week, I'm going to bring a teaser, of course, because I'm not going to present the whole program. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a need for you to purchase my course, right? So we started doing a mini launch last week. And what we wanted, and we asked based on a couple of ads, you want to call them ads that I put on social media, is that we wanted to do an introduction of the course to some nurses who were interested, and some were and some were not. That's what we call it. It's not even a beta lunch. It's just a mini lunch. We call it a tiny lunch. Okay. So today is the last day. Well, I'm going to extend it till tomorrow in case a couple of people might want to sign up. We wanted to give it to 5 nurses who would be starting the program and get it at almost half price. But anyway, this is not what this is about. This is about, I'm going to, because I believe in this so much, I'm going to continue doing it. And, I don't have to work 40 hours anymore. And sometimes it takes people weeks and months to hear something over and over so they become aware of it. So their consciousness is kind of tickled. So why do we need to train nurse supervisors? And I did another class where I gave you some statistics as to we have, like, is it 3 or 4 million nurses, registered nurses working, but we also have a lot of vacancy And I still hear that nurses are leaving left and right. There was a post today that says, we can't keep any nurses. And my manager is asking me why. And my response was, if you're a director and you're losing staff and you don't know why, you're missing the boat. You're not in touch with what's happening, right? This is why I also talked about culture, because I saw culture as one of the solutions of assessing and addressing the nursing shortage. So the first thing that we do with Skill Build, we created in chapter one, it was like of an assessment, a discovery type of chapter, because I believe personally that one of the main reasons why we cannot keep staff is that because we don't have the right people in the job on the job. There was I forgot his name. He wrote a book, and in his book he talked about having the right people on the bus, right? So you could be a manager if you're trying to drive a bus, but you have the wrong people on the bus, you're gonna have chaos, right? And I understand COVID, nursing shortage, yes. But you know what? If you don't do both, if you don't hire, I call it hire responsibly, it's going to end up hurting you, right? Because you know the cost of a bad hire is like 14, $15,000. You invest about 30% of the salary of an employee to recruit. You spending thousands of dollars giving it to HR to put all these expensive ads to bring people to the door, but you are not sifting through the one that come to the door to make sure you have the right people on the bus. You must have the right people on the bus. And I say, you hear me say it all the time, it starts at the top. If your ED is not the right person, right fit for his job or her job, if your director of nursing doesn't have the qualities to do her job, plus she doesn't have support from corporate, you're going to have problems. If your unit managers are people you just put in those positions because you wanted to fill those positions, but you don't even know whether they have the capacity, the mentality, the skills to be able to multitask and juggle all these balls, you're going to have problems. Then you have people close to the patients, the residents. If they don't have those skills, if they don't have empathy, they don't care for people, they can't manage their time, you're going to have problems. It doesn't matter what level of the organization that you're looking at. It doesn't matter who you want to hire. You want to invest in picking the right people. Now, I understand sometimes you may have some such high vacancy that you need somebody. You hear them. You hear us nurses a lot talk about a warm body. We talk about having the warm body syndrome. We just need somebody on the books to show. Especially if you're doing census and PP, what do they used to call that, PPD? Is it PPD? I forgot. For the staffing numbers that you're supposed to have for your 24 hours. If you don't have the right number, you're going to be called out and say, how come you don't, right? And your staffing person is just putting pressure on you. Hi, whoever joined. So we do understand the pressure, but you still have to keep in mind that I need to make sure I hire the right people. Okay. So why is it important to hire the right people in our facilities? I am focusing right now mostly on long term care, but what I'm talking about, those principles apply across the board. When I had my small home care agency, to where when I was managing, I was a director of nursing for home care. We had about 400 patients we were juggling on a daily basis. The same thing applies. People came to interview. I interviewed them. I did not hire a bunch of them, because when I had the question that I asked them, if they couldn't answer them, that was it. The way they presented themselves to for the appointment, that told me a lot. The way they answered the phone, the way the resume looked, their grammar and all that. You cannot afford not to be picky, because it will come back to bite you. Okay? So you have baby boomers retiring every single day. I'm a baby boomer. I just retired. Because we are more health conscious, after you retire at 65, you may live another 30, 40 years. That's another lifetime. So eventually you're going to need care. So the numbers are continuing to increase in terms of who's going to need care, who's going to be in your facilities. But what are we doing? What are we doing to staff these facilities? All I'm hearing is that nurses are leaving, doing other things. They're going to become travelers. They're all agency, and the problem is not being solved. Yes, you have bodies there, but do you have culture? Do you have a team? I would hardly say that you do. You do not. Okay? So, Skill Build starts with chapter one. We have 12 chapters in the program. And of course, like I say, I'm not going to tell you everything that's, in the chapters, but I'm trying to try to raise your consciousness as to why it's important. If you are in the management position, if you're a DON, typically long-term care does not see the need. They want to hire people. They give you what I hear, I'm repeating what I've heard, 2 days of orientation, regardless of the job role or description. 2 days. And then you're on your own. I myself, I was, hired for a position, and I was told, can you come tomorrow? And I'm like, excuse me, is there going to be an orientation? Because that was not something that was expected. I expected it, but they were like, you have RN after your name, go do it. This is what we do. We setting up these people for failure. And then this ED is saying, why can't we keep nurses? And I'm like, duh, what do you mean? You are not creating an environment to support this person that you just hired. You want a body, you want somebody to pump the pills and just do the dressing, and that's all you're concerned about? Ooh, that is so sad. So, in addition to the numbers of baby boomers, in addition to increased longevity, people are living longer. In addition to people living with more chronic diseases that they're going to be needing services in your facilities, in addition to the acuity of those patients is much more than it used to be, where nursing home used to be where we park people and they age gracefully until they die. Now they're like mini hospitals. So you can't just have Joanne over there who hasn't worked in 20 years and come and feel comfortable working in your facilities, because she's going to have her skill set, be able to multitask, be able to deal with the trachs and the ventilators and dialysis and all this stuff. And so you have to invest. So I see another major problem is that long-term care managers, owners just do not understand the importance, first of all, of hiring responsibly, making sure you have the right people on the bus, and they don't invest in education. The only education you're going to get is what is required, the real basic. They would drill into me, oh, we need you to do these code drills. We need to do an elopement drills. They were big on those, just enough so that when the surveyor comes, you're not getting lambasted and getting tags and stuff. That kind of mindset is so basic, right? So there is no way you're going to see the need to train your supervisor. You're going to say, what do you mean training? She's been a nurse for 5 years. She's been a nurse for 2 years. She can do it. I'm sorry. If that's the way you feel, I can't make you change your mind. I'm going to have the information out there, and hopefully, some of you will see the need, the reason why you want to invest the few dollars you're going to invest to have your nurse be trained so that she can provide services for your patients. I don't understand that mindset. I don't. I really don't. But I know that's where they're going with that. So another reason is that your nurses are leaving, and I talked about that in another video. When you ask a nurse, Why are you leaving your position? Yes, definitely. A lot of them are going to say the pay is horrible, but it's not the number one reason people leave their jobs. I did another, I shared another article the other day as to why high performing employees are leaving. They're leaving usually because of a toxic culture, right? And when I did the class on culture, I explained to you what that meant. So you can throw all the money that you want at someone, but if they're not supported, if there is division, if there is no sense of we, there is no team concept, they don't feel, you don't have any culture because they don't know what your vision or mission statement is. You're not spending time, nurturing what I call nurture your culture. You're not, they don't know what you stand for. And yes, you could take a job because you need to put food on the table. But if your soul is being mismanaged and people are disrespecting you, you have CNAs who don't want to do what you could do it for a little bit. But a lot of times you're going to wear out mentally and physically, and then you're going to walk. Okay? So understand that. And of course, we have reimbursement challenges. There's something else that came down today on one of those sites that says CMS is revising blah, blah, blah. I know 2 months ago they had this where they go into recalculate the payment to nursing home. And why do they always have to recalculate nursing home payment? They're always trying to cut back, even though they're like, oh, we love our seniors, America, longevity, people are living healthier lives. Yeah, bull. Okay. Because when it comes to them reimbursing these nursing homes, the home health agencies, Medicaid for the poor. No, they're not. They're not gonna give you. They give you scraps, and then they're gonna go saying, "Oh, look at all this population. They're number one in diabetes and cancer." Okay, I'm gonna get on a soapbox, and I don't want to get another soapbox because this country, the way we manage the health of our population, is shameful. It's truly shameful. Yes, I said it. All right. So we're constantly going to need more providers, more workers, more hands on deck, right? So, how are we going to do that? So, today, my idea is just to help you understand why. Oh, where's my thing? It is important for us, there it is. It's important for us to hire responsibly. So when somebody comes, I'm going to switch to, I only have like a couple of slides. When somebody takes my class, SkillBuild, because to me, I am trying to get you to understand, hopefully you've read your job description, but I'm trying to get you to see who you are and how much of a challenge a position like that is going to present for you. My class, we have four major framework points that we use. The first one is collect. Collect meaning it's a self discovery. It's trying to get you to see, okay, let me see who I am and how I fit this job. Now, pretty much, I can almost guarantee that you didn't have any kind of testing or assessment done before you took this job. Because if you were promoted from charge nurse from the night shift, now you're a supervisor for the 3 to 11 shift. A lot of you, if I were to do a poll, would tell me, "Oh, no, we didn't do that. They just promoted me because I've been there for so long and I know the place from I know everything about the place." Well, I don't think that qualifies you to be a supervisor. I'm telling you, I was a supervisor for a long time. Just being, I was hired to be a DON. Imagine coming from the outside to be a DON in a place. You got to have your act together, right? So just because you've been in a place for 20 years does not qualify you to be a supervisor. So the number one, chapter one, we start the collecting. We're gathering the data. So we welcome you to the module and we're glad that you've joined and blah, 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 with all the kumbaya, because we want you to feel valued, that you are going to get a lot out of this course. Then I have like a mild, very simple pretest, and it's like some random questions about supervision just to see how your mind works. So then I go over, why do you need this course? And I think I just laid out for you earlier all the reasons, the number of, it's raining buckets here, the number of baby boomers, people are always going to need our services, and the shrinking number of nurses. Yes, nurses are still able and attracted, like I said last time, to the profession, which really warms my heart. But they are challenged with finding instructors. I'm telling you, I'm teaching this class for this term, and it's not an easy job. It's a challenge in some ways, right? So you need the course because it's an investment in yourself. Now, I'm hoping some nurses would take this course for themselves, even though their manager, their building, their organization does not see the value for it. I've told you before, when you are in a position, you are in um, your career path, you're on your career path. Investing in yourself is an investment for you. Whatever continuing education training that you engage in is just going to make you more marketable. It's just going to elevate you. When you put that on your resume, you have a leg up on the competition. So if you choose to invest in a class like this on your own, paying your own money, that's continuing education for you. That's an investment in your personal development. Okay. So it's not wasted. And I think a lot of time as nurses, we just don't see the need to invest in ourselves. We feel that if you have RN after your name, well, you got it. Or if you just say, well, I want to become a nurse practitioner. I explained to you the other day that it's not roses, right? It's, you work yourself, you work your butt off too. Being a nurse practitioner, it's not an easy job. I heard this person the other day say, well, I don't want to stay at the bedside, I want to become a CRNA. I would ask you the same question here. Why? Is it just because you know they make the most money? It's a tough program to get into and to stay in, because it's not for sissies. It's going to challenge you. And then this person said, well, I don't think I'm smart enough, but I don't want to stay at the bedside. It's like, oh no, that is the wrong reason for you to want to do something. Okay. I also said that people who have seniors, teenagers, high schoolers who are going to be graduating and transitioning into college, let them do a personality assessment to see what they love, what they're good at. You don't want to invest 8 years of college learning and studying something that you have no interest in. Come on. I mean, in the dark ages, we could do that, but we have so many tools available to us today. Why would you want to go choose a career that you're going to be miserable in? That after a year or two, you're going to turn away from, and all that money, all those student loans were for not. Why would you want to do that? Invest in learning about yourself. So find your why. Why do you want to take this job? Why do you want to supervise people? You think it's going to be easy? I got something for you. Why do you want to do it? Is it because of the money that they're giving you? Is it going to be worth it? Couldn't you do something else and get the same amount of money? Why do you want to expose yourself to people who are constantly challenging you? CNA is going to tell you, I'm not going to do it. I'll take the write up. Managers who are dumping on you, who want you to do your job and theirs. Managers who are disrespectful to you. I heard the other day a CNA and I mean a DON, a DON got into verbal argument. Well, you're supposed to be a team. Why would you get into personality? Did we do a good enough screening of this person before you put them in those positions. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir, I hope. I'll keep saying it over and over, and hopefully it's going to get through somebody. Okay? So we talk about the class focus, that it is really on soft skill, not just definition, but the development, right? And what are soft skills? How do you define soft skills? Those are the skills that go into allow you to thrive in a supervisory role. Your people skills, your patience, your sense of um, multitasking, your ability to prioritize, your ability to remain calm in times of chaos, your ability to manage people multiple personalities, your ability to deal with defiant subordinates, people who are constantly challenging your authority, your ability to be comfortable in your own skin, your ability to relate to your employees and to your patients and to those family members who just want make you want to pull your hair out, right? So those are the soft skills we talk about. And yes, you may not have all of them, and yes, you can learn to develop them. Okay? So again, find out your why. Is it the money? Is it prestige? Hmm? Is it because you burn out at the bedside? You want something new, something different? That doesn't mean supervision should be it. I've heard of nurses leaving nursing and going to work in doctors' offices. I've heard them going to urgent care. I've heard them leaving long-term care to work. One of them said she was working in a veterinarian's office and loving it. Others are doing what do they call that? Facials and other things, dermatology, and they're loving it. So there you have options. You don't have to become a supervisor, because let me tell you, this is not an easy job. Being a manager is not an easy job. I remember this girl had just gotten promoted, and then it was the height of COVID, and she had worked her five days, and people calling off, and guess who had to come in and do an 11 to 7? You are going to work your butt off. So if you think it's going to be a Monday to Friday kind of thing and no one's going to bother you, do your due diligence and find out. So we talked about demographics, baby boomers, the need for nurses. I went over all that. Need for nurse supervisors is just, you know, in conjunction with just the need for nurses, right? Because if you are a DON, excuse me, and you don't want to be at your facility 24/7, you need to delegate somebody who's going to keep the ship going while you're away, right? Because a lot of time, if you don't have a supervisor, it's mayhem. It's just chaos in that building. Nobody knows what's going on. Imagine if you have a bunch of travelers and agency people in your facility and no supervisors. I'd be scared. I wouldn't be able to sleep, right? So, a well trained supervisor can make your life so much easier. I joined one or two directors of nursing groups, and I was thinking they would jump on the chance to say, oh, yes, I want to train my employees. But no, they don't see the need for it. Like I said, long term care, they do not see the value in investing in training. They see training as we're going to do PCC training, we're going to do wound care, they'll do training for wound vac, all the hands on clinical things. Now, when PDPM and other thing comes down, because it has to do with reimbursement now and money, yes, they'll do some training. But you talk about soft skill, they're like, what's that? Why does she need that? Why should I take money out of my budget to send somebody for training? The mentality. We need a paradigm shift. We need a shift in our thinking. And if we have this issue with nursing shortage that is not going to go away, it's going to be worse. How long have we been dealing with this COVID related nursing shortage, which of course we know it wasn't, it just exacerbated it. How long are you guys going to be willing to hire only agencies, only travelers? Hmm. You know what? If I were a patient, I would be concerned going into any hospital or facilities where this kind of stuff is going on. Okay? Our promise in our class is that we're going to give you all the tools that you need. We have a pre-test for every chapter. We do a post-test for every chapter so that we want you to continue to build on your learning, what you're learning, and we encourage you to go practice those. We give you flow sheets, we give you flow charts, we give you grids, we give you scripts on how you talk to people. We give you script on how you supervise an employee. We give you script as to when you bringing somebody into your office, how you do it. There is a science to these things, guys. You cannot just say, well, that's just the way I am. That's how I approach things. Well, how's that working for you? Okay. Some people are naturally gifted in terms of managing people. Some people need a little help and some people need a lot of help. Where do you where do you fall on that spectrum? Only you can tell. So the next this slide is going to look a little, ooh, it's really small. But this is what I'm going to tell you what it is because I was going to put it on a different slide and I didn't have time. We do a self-assessment, okay? This one is called Nursing Supervisor Self-Assessment, okay? And it says, give yourself, it's a 10 question questionnaire, and we give you one question per, I mean, 1 point per questions. It's very simple. I mean, I could have made it a lot more complicated and gotten into more details, but this is just kind of a general, again, it's just trying to pique your interest and make you reflect and think a little bit, okay? Because I remember, and I think I mentioned in another video, when I was starting my first business, when I decided after selling my agency, I was going to become an entrepreneur. And I took this test that was, I found it in the Inc. magazine. Inc. magazine is a magazine for businesses, and they do a lot of rankings of businesses, and it gave a questionnaire for entrepreneur, and it, depending on where you felt what your scoring was, it would say go for it, and then if you're in the middle it's like proceed with caution. And then if you were really off the chart it says keep your day job. And I was very appreciative that I was able to find something like that that kind of validated what I wanted to do, because I am from a family of entrepreneur, and it turns out there is a genetic predisposition to that. But anyway, I digress. So with this little tool that I created, I developed it. It says, I love people. I love people of different ethnic backgrounds, race, color, and gender. Okay. So you'd have to take a minute of, maybe a few seconds to think about that. And it is not a right or wrong answer. You on a discovery to find out who you are. We all have our own biases depending on how we grew up, where we grew up, our experiences. We're not pointing fingers at anybody. We're just saying, this is who I am. Okay? Understand that. The second one says, I am a hard worker. I have a lot of energy. I have a lot of stamina. I am not lazy. That is a very simple question or statement, whatever you want to call it, but it is making you think. Do you have a lot of stamina? Or do you have to work? Can you work 2 days and you have to take 2 days off? Can you work past your 8 hours, or are you ready with your bag out at 3:30, ready to go? And you get bent out of shape if you have to stay after work to finish a report or to counsel somebody, or you get called into an impromptu meeting. Are you that flexible? Understand that. It's very important. I am very responsible and always complete tasks that are assigned to me to the best of my ability. Do you feel that when something is given to you to accomplish, do you feel like this is part of my responsibility, or do you feel being dumped on? And do you just bitch about it and you complain that they're giving you too much work? Well, guess what? That's what you do as a supervisor. There are things that are you're responsible for and you can't shy away from, and you can't give it to somebody else to do. Even if you do, you're still responsible. Okay? Are you responsible? I get along with most people. Mm. Do you? Or do you say, oh, that one, I stay clear of her? This one, I don't know. You know, you got to be able to embrace everybody. You need to have the personality to just get along with every one of your co-workers, people who are working for you, under you, the CNA, the people who clean the room, the garbage people, the kitchen people. Are you able to work with those people? Everybody. Can you get along? Or are you the one starting the fire? I can multitask and function well in stressful environment. Yeah. How do you manage stress? Do you know, just like children can feel when their parents are anxious, your staff can feel when you're anxious. When there is an emergency, they're looking to you to see how you're going to handle it. How do you handle it? Or do you flip out and just don't know what to do? Or you have to call your DON every second, say, I don't know what to do. You're going to lose respect. People, your staff is going to say, I don't even know why they put her in that position, because they know you can handle it. You have to be responsible and be calm, because the stressful situation, there will come. The challenging patient, there will come. The disrespectful family member, there will come. The fires and stuff, the hurricanes, there will come. Okay? I can juggle multiple task priorities at the same time. Well, it's probably more so for managers, but as a supervisor, you have all those falls, follow-ups to do, physicians to call, those skin assessments you're responsible for, those quarterlies and stuff that get delegated to you. Are you able to juggle it all? Are you able to prioritize to say, oh, okay, this one's due today. I need to do this first. That it's a mindset, but we can train you to get your mind there. I can I am comfortable counseling an employee or subordinate if needed. Are you okay addressing an employee who is either lazy, not performing well, not doing her duties, is mouthing off, disrespectful, or maybe he's on her phone all the time, or he's not dressed appropriately? Like I said, the girl with the braids down her to her butt, and then she was doing this and that, and I was like, how does she give it back to my patient with that hair? Go, or the ones with the claws and the nails, and I'm like, and then you're gonna take care of my little people and tell me you have 3 skin tears that I have to deal with and all that? Are you comfortable to address those issues? Or do you just avoid conflict? Oh, I just want to get her mad. These are only a few things that I want you to start thinking about. This is what we do in that course. We make you understand so you can see where you stand. Where do you fall? I am healthy and know how to take care of myself to avoid burnout. That's a simple question. Are you a people pleaser? Are you the one who can't ever say no to the staffing coordinator when she asks you to work and come on the weekend and do all these extra work? Do you know how to set the boundaries and like, oh, no, no, I put in my time. I'm going away with my family. Even if you're not going away, this is my day off. I'm going to stay off. Do you do all your stuff so that they don't keep calling you when you're off? Do you like that? Do you like to be off on your 2 days off and then they're calling you 4 or 5 times a day to say, did you do this? Did you do that? How about this? How about that? We teach you how to nip this in the bud, making sure you have a report that is detailed. You make sure you let people know what's going on so that they don't have to ask you what's going on. You don't want a job to become your life. A job is only part of your life. Okay? And knowing how to balance it out, it's a skill. Don't be a pushover. Don't let them walk all over you because they'll be the same one to go and write you up. But knowing your responsibilities, what you're responsible for, do your job to the best of your ability, and then it's like, I draw the line. No, no, I'm not coming in. No. No. Some people never know how to say no. And you need to learn to say no. Okay? When it's time for your vacation, take it. Don't wait till you in the hospital to take your time off because burnout will put you in the hospital. Stress will put you in the hospital. In your facility, if they don't have culture, they don't care about you. They won't even give you a phone call. Trust me. I feel comfortable leading a team. Are you a natural born leader or are you uncomfortable? You can learn. I believe that being a leader is a mixture of uh, innate personal traits and skills that you learn. You don't have to be the best leader, but you can be a good leader. Okay. I, excuse me, I am not afraid to ask questions and to admit I don't know, but I will find out. you know, I find that people respect you if you say you don't know. Don't be a know it all. Don't try to show off. And don't give people the wrong information for Pete's sake. It could be dangerous. So you need to learn to say, first of all, you need to know a lot more than your team, right? Because you're supposed to be the leader, you're supposed to be the resource person. Your team should be able to come to you. So you're going to hone your skills. Just knowing how to do a quarterly and to do a skin assessment, that doesn't make you skilled. No. But if a patient is crashing and they call you, are you able to call it out? Or do you call 911 for everything because you don't want to be bothered? That is not what your job wants you to do because you're supposed to try to keep those patients in the building as much as possible because they get dinged if they go back to the hospital, re-up, re-hospitalization. You need to understand. You need to understand that the job is a business. This is not charity. Gosh, it's a mindset. So then you do tabulate yourself. And then if you got 10 questions right, between 8 and 10, yeah, go for it. You can still take my class. You're going to refresh. You're going to get better, but you're good. You're on your way. If you got 5 to 8, there is room there to work. Okay? That means you do have some traits, but we can help you develop some of it. But if you have less than 5, keep your job. Keep your current job. If you can only answer yes to 5 or less of these questions, it's gonna, I'm not saying you can't, trust me. Okay, I am a very optimistic person. I believe that if you want something bad enough, if you invest in yourself, there's nothing you can't do, but it's gonna be a struggle. Okay, but you see, this was an exercise in introspection. It was just trying to get you to see where you fall. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not saying you're a failure. I'm not saying you're bad. None of those things. We're just saying that it's important to understand the required skills, soft skills to manage people. Managing people is one of the toughest jobs in the world. A lot of people would say, give me my little job, my little cubbies. I don't want to deal with people. And it's okay. So some nurses would say, I don't want it. Or they tried it and it was a flop and they say, I don't want it. I get it. If you say, I tried being a supervisor, oh my God, I want to go back to being at the bedside. A lot of nurses have done that. You know why? That's because their bosses did not invest in finding out who they are. Did they have what it takes? Okay. So having done this little exercise, there are some assessments that some jobs will do. It could be a personality test, it could be an aptitude test, it could be a skills assessment. Of course, skills assessment, we all did those, but it has to do with nursing skills. It doesn't have to do with the soft skills, right? When I was running my business in the 90s and the 2000s, I used what we call the DISC profile, DISC. It kind of shows you how your brain works and your likes and dislikes and your personality. You know, like when I was trying to hire a salesperson, I wasn't going to hire somebody that looked like me, that had the traits that I had, because I suck at selling, right? But somebody who's bubbly, who's never met a stranger and can persuade you to do anything. Some people are natural born salesmen, salespeople. So those assessments kind of help you channel yourself into a career or a job that comes more naturally to you, and you're going to be more successful at it, right? So I say, if you are a deal, well, first of all, I always say it starts at the top, right? So when you hire whoever is doing the hiring, the ED, make sure they take the assessment too, that they have a large amount of knowledge and patience, and they can lead people, they're responsible, they're accountable, they can manage deadlines, they can manage emergencies, they, and you know what, one of the biggest thing I could have added to this assessment is, are you comfortable taking directions from a superior? You know, some people have a hard time, they say, being told what to do, but it's not being told. There are parts of your job somebody expects you to do. They'll say, Maggie, I need you to do this. Are you comfortable doing it? Or do you go around just, oh, you're mad, you're upset? Because in any organization, any building, any job, you have a hierarchy, right? You got somebody up here, somebody down here. So somebody's going to tell you what to do wherever you fall on that tree, on that spectrum, right? So you have to be able to take directions. You got to be able to take criticism. If you think you all that, and somebody said, well, you know, when they do your eval and they say, well, there is room for improvement here, do you huff and puff, or do you say, oh, thank you for the feedback, I'll make sure I do what I can to improve next time? That's that's how you should respond to getting feedback, right? So, guys, I know I said 30 minutes and I always go over. I just wanted you guys to understand, because nurse training and advocacy is dedicated to training nurses, nurse managers, nurse supervisors, because my heart really, I'm concerned as to what's going to happen to this profession. And you know, they were talking about bringing people from the street to take care of people, giving them like maybe a week training so they can pass meds and do other things. Just think that it's going to be your grandmother, your grandparents, your mom, and your dad in those facilities, and we need to do what we can to make sure people are, you know, qualified and can safely take care of our loved ones. And in addition to hiring responsibly, providing training, I talked about culture. To me, that is one of the most important things that I could have spoken of. In any organization, there has to be a decision to create, developing, and maintaining culture. You want people to work in a place that is comfortable and safe, and there is a team concept where people are, you know, you ask them, what was the reason you left your last job? Because of the manager. 80 to 90% of people will tell you they can pinpoint to one particular individual that made them quit their job. That is so sad. But they're still in this position. Nobody on top is saying, you are toxic. You are just corrupting everything about your building. You need to go. And I said last week that it's okay to fire people, but what you need to do best is hire the right people. make sure you have the right people on the bus with you. Then the ride is going to be a lot smoother. All right, guys. Next week I can talk about chapter 2 in the book, in the course, and hopefully raise some interest. So I think in about a month or so, the course. The course is going to go live, or it's going to be available to everybody. I wanted to start with, like I said, do a soft launch and then do the full launch. So I'm just going to do the full thing and just put it out there and then let the universe take care of it. Whoever wants to buy it can buy it, but this is my gift to the world. I did my part, and that's the thing. I always feel like if I do my best, the rest of it, I leave it up to God. Whatever happens, happens. I did my part. I invested. I produced. It's out of my hand now. All right. I hope you guys had a good time, and I hope you get to watch this again, share it with your friends, your colleagues, and hopefully you can get your mind starting to think. If you know anybody who could benefit from this training, make sure they can email me. Let's see, I can go in here in the private chat and put my email again. Very easy email to remember, maggieLazar@gmail.com. And you can always message me on Nurse Training and Advocacy on YouTube or on Facebook, and I will return the message. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching, if you're not, I'm having a good time, a good day. Blessings to all. God loves you. Bye bye. Okay. 51 minutes. Bye.